Hello, everyone.
Hello, Morgan.
Hello. All right, we're going to get started today. Got some pretty good things on the list. So, okay, on the agenda, got about 10 minutes of announcements. We'll do a recap of the Sustainable Networking event, which took place in place of the general meeting last week. We're going to do t-shirt polo sales. We're really excited to show you some of the designs, some of the different options we've got. Also, there's an opportunity to go to MIT and participate in an energy hack. So I've got more details about that. And there is a free course that's dedicated to designing for environmental sustainability that we'll talk about. And then we've got debates. Thought this is a good way to get everyone involved and going. We've got two pretty interesting topics that we'll go through, but we'll do about 40 minutes of that. It's pretty structured, but split everyone up. It'll be a good time. Okay.
So, for those of you who came, we have about 30 students in attendance, which is pretty good. We had 6 employers and 3 companies, and hopefully everyone had a good time, ate some food, got to talk to some people. So there's 2 other things we want to promote in the area of jobs. Dayaway has clean energy jobs available, and if you'd like to look there, they're a great place to look. And Bendix is also recruiting for co-ops.
Yeah, Kira reached out and said that Bendix, they've sponsored us in the past. They've been looking for interns from ESW, but haven't really made those connections. So she said that if anyone's interested in opportunities there, to talk to her, and she can like hook you up like one-on-one with someone to really like get you placed in there.
I actually got a text from Gabe this morning, and Ramble is also potentially looking for co-ops as well. So that's another one that just came this morning. So yeah, let us know if either of them sound interesting. Please let us know. We'll help you.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
T-shirts. So I'm gonna go through some of the t-shirt options we have. We have 2 t-shirts, or t-shirt and long sleeve, and polos. So the first option, this color's kind of a little distorted, but this will be in the newsletter so you can see it there. But this is our first option. It's a gray short sleeve t-shirt with this logo, that kind of design. I think it's pretty cool with the wind turbine. So these would be $15. And then the next thing we have is a green long sleeve t-shirt, because it's always cold up here, with the same logo, just in like a gray color. And those are going to be $17. And then lastly, we have polos that also come in women's sizes in like the women's cut. These are like the same exact ones that we had, that people who have polos have. They're good for conference and networking, and just generally good to have a polo. So these are going to be $20 for professional wear. So all of these designs and stuff are going to be sent out in the newsletter, and directions on like how to order it. There'll be some sort of survey. Fill out your information, pay money would be through campus groups, and then they'll probably be in around the end of October is our goal. So order away. If you guys have questions, let me know. Kind of self-explanatory. Run through once more. Gray t-shirt, many colors, nice, pretty. Green t-shirt, one color, still nice and pretty. Polo, a bit more professional, but nice and pretty. And yeah, any questions, let me know. And all the other info for ordering will be in the newsletter. Cool.
Okay. So over the summer, the MIT Energy Hack Group reached out to the club and wanted to see if we would like to send the application to our members to attend. Essentially, it's a 3-day event in October that is dedicated to taking different cross-functional teams and letting them solve some sustainability-related problems. Last year, they had over 100 students in attendance, all flying in from all over the country, and there is subsidization available. They said that they can reimburse up to $190, and that's based on a case-by-case basis. So the application is pretty easy. It looks like it's, why do you want to join and who are you and different things like that. But we'll send it out in the newsletter. It does close. So on October 24th at 5 p.m., it'll close and then they'll pick who is going because you need to apply to go. And then essentially you can be housed on MIT's campus and they may reimburse travel if you're traveling for over 50 miles, which I'm sure we
Which
are.
is us.
Definitely us. So I think it's a really cool opportunity, a way to get ourselves out there and involved and solving some really cool problems. They say that they have a number of companies that they work with to like curate these problems, and everyone's working and solving the same issue. So seems pretty cool. So again, the link to application will go out in the newsletter, probably also an email or a link to their website and like past competitions and things like that. So if you all are interested, definitely check it out. And they also have opened it up if we have any questions. So if you do have like more specific questions, like feel free to filter them through me and I can contact them and ask those questions. The next opportunity was provided to us by one of our faculty advisors, Sarah Brownell. If you guys are familiar with her, she works up on the MSD floor. She's really involved with senior design, but has a lot of ties to sustainability around campus. So she had put us in touch with this course. It's a six-week course. It's totally free, and it says that you will explore the relationship between poverty and the environment and develop entrepreneurial solutions to environmental problems. Essentially, it's like an online thing. They think about 3 hours per week, but I'm not really totally sure about it, but it seems like a cool opportunity. We start on the 15th of October. Again, the link for enrollment will be sent out in the newsletter, so if you have any questions, definitely check that out or ask us, or we can put you in contact with Sarah. Well, that's that. Do we have any questions? All right. So, debates. Lainey and I just got back from the RIT 365 program, which is the year one replacement. We just did a 50-minute workshop with them where we ran a series of debates trying to get the freshmen interested in sustainability. So this is a picture, and it happened 20 minutes ago. Or no, not 20, an hour. It doesn't matter. It was recent. They got so into it. It was really interesting to see how excited they were to discuss these things. But essentially, this is going to be the layout. We'll have 3 minutes for a pro and a con team to give their opening remarks, what important topics, and I'll introduce the topics on the next slide. Then they'll have 1 minute to converse with their team, figure out some questions to ask the other team, preparing for a rebuttal. 3 minutes for sort of controlled conversation between the pro and con team, and then open it up for 5 minutes for the club to converse. So the other team who is sitting while this one comes up can discuss it. It can be an open forum. And electric vehicles and recycling. Pros and cons to both. We always think about them as being totally sustainable topics, but I think it's important that we consider all aspects of both. So I think we ought to split up the room and prepare for our debates.
Yeah.
All right. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
We just cut off by fours.
Sure.
So that
Oh, yeah.
ones and twos are equal, 3 or 4 is recycling.
Sure. All right, go.
1,
2, 3,
4, 2,
3,
4, 1, 2,
3.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1,
2.
cool.
Okay.
All right.
You're 3, Morgan.
3. Okay.
1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Yeah, okay.
1. So, are we pro or con?
What do you want?
I don't know, but we just have to figure it out.
I'll go.
I know enough about
Yeah, I'm working.
So how about we do pro electric vehicle, non-electric vehicle, for recycling costs? So
I think one of the biggest pros is like the infrastructure change. And like, I don't know if that's if fully electric because right now we but like that's right now like the vehicle is like 100% electric or like just like
I think we could consider both. Yeah,
I mean because
a lot of downfalls.
a lot of downfalls but also like they are like at least in the market right now.
Mm-hmm. Electric vehicles are like not as saturated.
The biggest thing is
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, so.
the technology itself works well. Like the equivalent energy plan is like 400 miles per gallon. It's like
For sure. Who wants to speak?
you guys have thoughts.
I mean,
I mean, the argument too going off of that is like it's a lot easier to change how you generate electricity versus like the source of your fuel.
Gasoline.
And it's a lot easier to produce like electricity because it's large scale. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. I'm very tired. What else?
Really, in my case, probably.
They're also like people just like I think a big opposition is that people don't like change, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're less further just because it's not the way it's normally been done.
The biggest thing is like there needs to be an investment, like companies like provide the infrastructure first, because like people will switch if you have electric charging stations and you have gas stations.
Yeah.
It's just like they're not there.
If you, yeah, like some places have charging stations and parking lots where like.
I'll say the public
Regular
market.
cars.
The
Yeah.
public market has like a few now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And,
I mean, RAT has some.
yeah, yeah,
The thing is, it's like if you're not in a city,
yeah.
if you're like,
Super hard.
yeah, then it's kind of like, but their range is pretty good. Like
Yeah.
a lot of them have like a range of like 10 miles or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, so it's good for like day-to-day commuting, but like,
Yeah.
and when you're seeing a long trip, a lot of people will buy them. Like they'll either buy it as a secondary car or like,
Did you say 400 miles?
yeah, I've seen some that are.
Wow, that's my like whole drive from here to home for 6 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
because I was like,
how?
yeah, I had to look at. I don't know like how they, like, I don't know, but like I had to do it like at work last. I had to like look up cars for work. But anyways, like we were looking at the range. So I was like, oh, I wonder if I could buy one to go Rochester to Connecticut, and you can't because it's like 500 miles.
Yeah.
But it's still like a good enough. It's an easy enough range to like get your daily commute, and then it's just like the longer trips that you end up doing. You have to like plan a stop.
Yeah. And
Suburban areas are
improves like the air quality there in like congested cities in Bolivia, like where a lot of people are driving, a lot of different vehicles. Good for the kids running around outside. Don't you want the kids to be running around outside?
I mean, and also like it's like the intent is to like decrease the dependence on fossil fuels.
Yeah.
which also has
They're just cars. The only difference is
I'm thinking of a lot of cons, and that's not really.
But if you can think of cons, you can think of pros that counter those cons.
Like their batteries are like
Need developers.
they're like not sustainable. Just because you need like a lot of heavy metals.
Yeah. And then what do you do at, like, we don't really have a stream
I
of
mean, they're like,
recycling for a mass amount.
I mean, there are, because like car batteries, like normal car batteries can be recycled. It's just like right now, we're not necessarily. Like, it's something that you can grow.
Like, we don't have the infrastructure.
But like you can, like I think most of them are lithium batteries.
Yeah.
Which you can.
It's all like.
If you don't have, it's like normal recycling. You don't have
Kind of reminds me of solar panels. Like, you were there at the Green Spark floor, right?
No, I had work. This was in the spring.
Right.
Yeah, it was at work.
But they were basically like, yeah, like you could recycle solar panels, but no one does because no one has, like, we don't have the infrastructure for it, so we just throw them out when we're done with them. And we're like, why don't we make this business?
Yeah.
Why don't we make
Isn't that how like Wegmans will accept like certain plastic bags of films and how RIT doesn't? Kind of like that.
Yeah, RT actually accepts them in certain places now.
Films, yeah, there's one in Global.
Yeah, there's like three locations.
Yeah, there's like drop-off locations, for plastic bags and other films.
Because those get caught up in like the recycling.
They added it last very recently. Yeah. That recycling, it's recycling infrastructure in the US is bad because we used to send it all to China, mostly for paper. Mostly for paper and glass. And then like last year or 2 years ago, they stopped like sending it. Sorry, I worked at the Pollution Prevention Institute, and one of my coworkers was like worked at a recycling sorting center, so he knew like all of this, and he would complain about every single.
Yeah. Not great.
So do you want to organize those?
Okay, so
It's mostly just the interior.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the top point. The second point, we could talk about just like say limits, like how it improves that, not only just air pollution, but then like gas stations, you can get like replacement charging stations. So and then we could go into how we use the less fossil fuels.
isn't it's cheaper, right? Like filling up your battery is cheaper than filling up gas.
In terms of electricity?
Yeah, like
Or in terms of, yeah, oh yeah.
to pay for the
To
electricity
pay,
is
so like,
less.
yeah, so normally like vehicles are like slightly more expensive, like Nissan, like Leafs, stuff are only around like 30 to 40,000, which is like not absurd. It's still like more expensive for like what you're getting, but like the payback is like pretty good. Like you barely spend. It's like a quarter at least, if not less, than what you would pay for gas. So yes,
Okay,
it's
so
more affordable.
second point,
Especially with subsidy, there's a lot of like kind of like
tax
rebates
isn't it?
and tax breaks that you can get.
I know about the ones with solar panels. Like if you spend money for solar panels,
Yeah,
the government will give you a tax break for those.
yeah. So they have that in a lot of cases for electric vehicles. So yes, as a long-term investment, it is cheaper.
So we have reduced emissions, we have better economical value.
Using less fossil fuels, trying to start away from that. It really does like the range. Yeah, but so you can't really get far with electric vehicles right now.
That is true.
The range is really impressive, but it's still like,
But it's like-
the reason people don't buy it is they're like, oh, well, what if I want to go on vacation?
Yeah.
Like, I need to rent a car for like
find a place where I know there's a charging station at
And like, I feel like just random rest stops on the road, like on a highway,
I've been seeing them more and
you might
more,
not find
but
one.
yeah, it's not a
But
guarantee.
yeah.
You gotta be in a state where they like actually invest in that type of stuff, but.
So that's iffy.
How are we doing?
What?
How are we going to present this? Like, what are we gonna
You can like, you wanna divide points.
Oh, jitters?
I don't know. Just like one person, yeah.
Oh, it makes sense. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make.
Sorry, I was listening.
We're talking about
And talk.
dividing points.
So if you want, I can do like economical or economical / fossil fuel place.
So the other ones are emissions and.
All right, guys.
There's emissions, economic. I think the other one
Good
was
idea
like
what our
fossil
topics
fuels.
are,
So I
what our
think that's it.
Yeah, we can set up possible.
We're going to move into the first one, electric vehicle use.
Alright, so
We have pros and cons.
I'll do fossil fuels.
Yeah.
So am I talking?
Yes.
What am I saying?
I'll do it. You guys want to?
Emissions.
I don't know anything.
Emissions. Talk about how it
That's me.
All right, welcome teams. Pro team, would you like to go first? You have 3 minutes for your opening remarks.
Yes. The main reason for electrical vehicles is the fossil fuels is that we're trying to get rid of it by switching more to a hybrid or fully electrical vehicle is going to allow us to stop having for like oil and such other fossil fuels that are dangerous to the environment.
So another point is that in the long term, they're actually less expensive than like traditional vehicles powered by gasoline because electricity is a lot cheaper. And like nowadays they have electric vehicles that are around like $30,000 to $40,000. So they're like the average consumer can pay for it. And they have a good enough range, typically between like 300 and 400 miles. So like for a daily commuter car, it's definitely something that's feasible for the average person.
Okay. Another note for the economic benefit of cars, a lot of states will do not like tax breaks or rebates if you buy cars powered by renewable energy electricity. So that's an important point. Now moving on to emissions, the most obvious of the pros of electric vehicles. Not all electricity comes from renewable sources, but it's much easier to get electricity from a renewable source and get away from the fossil fuels that cause the environment harm. So using electricity to power the car is beneficial because getting away from fossil fuels and the harmful effects that it has.
Another fact about emissions is that we're decreasing emissions in places where there's a large congestion of vehicles, so like cities and suburbs, there's so many vehicles, and emissions are being created at the tailpipe of the car with non-electric vehicles, and that's decreasing the air quality of cities and suburbs and causing a lot of health issues, especially with young kids developing more asthma. So by moving to electric vehicles, we would be able to decrease the amount of emissions in cities. They also get, roughly 400 miles per gallon if you were to equate their electric to gasoline energy conversions. I think we're good.
Yeah, good, great. And then what do you guys have to say about electric vehicles?
Okay, so lithium mining is, although electric vehicles are supposed to be more
process is it uses huge tracts of land. And so you've got, I mean, the main way people usually do it is strip pollination. And exactly to the habitat that used to be above it. And so, yeah, the process for extraction is good. You're just kind of moving the pollution from one area to another.
Another problem for an average person who maybe doesn't live in a city or suburb is that the infrastructure for charging isn't really there yet. So it's really hard to do longer trips. It can be hard to do trips in more remote places. And it may not be safer, for example, it may not be a safe winter car, for example, or a car for rough terrain given its lighter weight and, systems that can't just be rebuilt with a person with poured gas.
While you're right that most of the energy that they can run on cleanly produced energy. A lot of the electricity that we use now is made using coal, using natural gas. And more people driving electric cars means the demand for electricity goes up anyway, which could just lead to more use of those.
Also, we talked about getting rid of the lithium-ion batteries and how hard that is. Like, you can't put them in a regular landfill and ask BJ into the environment. It's not great. So we don't really have any steps in place to get rid of those. They need to be disposed of.
And the practicality for emergency vehicles, like a lot of times they aren't always, they have time to like regas or in this case recharge, but in the off chance that they're very busy, they may not have time to recharge, and that's not great.
We did it? We're good? Yeah. All right. Woohoo. So each amongst your own team, if you'd like to prepare for rebuttals, like maybe poke some holes if you want, other teams, and then we'll go through a discussion between both of you. We can like you'll have and it was like we said like 10 minutes, we might be able to like fill in 2 minutes. Sure, yeah. Okay, so we'll do a couple minutes of team and then we'll open it up to the club. So go ahead. What do you guys think of each other? Well, maybe not of each other, but the topic. Yeah, just go for it. Converse.
One of the concerns you raised about lithium-ion batteries that are in electric cars, and we wanted to mention the fact that they are recyclable and they have the same end-of-life struggles that normal car batteries have, and with what do you do with them, where can we put them, and finding a way to repurpose, recycle them. So no matter what car you're driving, you have a battery in it that needs to be disposed of properly.
Yeah, I guess another main point we have too is that, like, yes, there will be an increase in electricity demand if there is a transition to electric vehicles, but that's just more of an incentive for electricity plants to convert to cleaner energy. Because at the end of the day, that's going to be better for them as well, and that's the easiest switch that we have to sustainable energy generation. It is easier to do at a larger scale in the framework of electricity plant versus some sort of fuel that is distributed everywhere.
And it's really area dependent. You know, up here we get 85% of our energy from Niagara Falls Hydroelectric Dam. So, you know, that's pretty sustainable and renewable. So if you're driving an electric car up here, you would have that.
Kanchim, what do you think?
Is that they're also kind of dangerous, so I'm glad they're recyclable, I didn't know that, but.
So the more time it's recycled up, the lower quality material that's. And so you kind of have to think about that. And also the grids that, like in inner cities where there stands to be those kind of electric cars, the grids on construction, they handle a large load coming from charging vehicles.
And the time for charging, I think it takes 5 minutes to refill the tank, but it takes several hours to recharge the car. So,
Go for it.
So.
Keep dancing, go, totally.
So here, so we have the number one, demand in New York City. So we can power that with electricity, and we can power vehicles with electricity and have that accounted for.
Also, the fact that, you know, with cities and commutes, a lot of those cars wouldn't be charged in the city, they'd be charged in the suburbs as people charge them overnight and commute in.
And now to open it up to everyone, how do we all feel about it?
Yes, ladies.
I'm a farmer. I grow things because I have to do a lot of manure.
That's what it does.
And I know that truck isn't that simple, I use a lot of gas, but I really need that to move all my manure. So I don't know how feasible like an electric vehicle is. Like I'm picturing this like little dinky class car. I know they're getting better, but like, is there a truck?
There are hybrid trucks at the moment, and that's we're definitely moving towards the ideas of fully electric trucks.
I'm going off road a lot though. Like,
Yeah, so I actually worked for Magna Powertrain, and they do off-roading. They make powertrains, and we're working on transfer cases that make the whole thing. And they have product lines that are there for 4-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and it's something that currently exists. Is not optimized yet, but is on its way. So it's not something to discredit that, you know, electricity is not going to give you the same power. It totally will. We just haven't caught up quite yet, but it's coming. So don't kick it when it gets here.
Yeah, I think Julia brought up a really good point with bringing up the New York City subway, and that we shouldn't, this whole argument is a little disingenuous because cars in themselves are one of the biggest problems, and we should really be moving towards more widespread public transport.
I like it. Good perspective. They've got like bus systems, right?
Yeah,
Like
buses, yeah.
Like zero emission.
And then another benefit of a lot of electric vehicles is they have regenerative braking. So basically when you brake, it charges your battery, which increases the efficiency. It exists in hybrids, but yeah.
Does that like wearing your, like it's still wears on your brake pads? I mean, you're braking low.
No, it reduces the wear.
Like, what if I just wanted to like charge my battery, and just like,
That's
not
the motor is going in reverse.
Right.
Okay. So you reduce the
Yeah.
I'm a farmer. That's fine.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, there's like more time, but we don't have to like sit here for another 2 minutes and look at each other. So great job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let me call
All right. So pros will go first. We got 3 minutes. Here we go.
Okay, so we're not arguing that recycling is perfect. It's definitely got a lot of flaws to it, but it's better to have it than to not have it. So one of the things is that recycling can save a lot of energy. There's one article that said that recycling aluminum cans saves up to 92% of the initial energy. There's a lot of less plastics and metals going into our landfills, and there's less plastic going out into the environment.
So with all that, recycling also helps to lower greenhouse emissions and things like global warming, reducing global warming. And then there's also incentives to recycle, such as like getting money back when you bring your cans and your glass bottles places. You can also get money off going to amusement parks when you bring cans.
One of the main benefits is it extends the life cycle of a material. You can keep reusing one material, you don't have to keep making something new every time, which also reduces the amount of energy that's put into that material. So it's recycling something is oftentimes easier to separate from scratch. And then it ultimately reduces air and water pollution because a lot of the plastics that you can't recycle, they won't just get thrown out or the plastics go over the oceans and the rivers and whatnot. You know, on the side of the
I think we talked about environment, and that would be a Japan example. So Japan has very limited resources because it's an island, and Japan has about 8 kinds of trash cans lying around on their streets because they have to, because of that limited resource. And going off of that, the world is running out of resources. So if we want to be more sustainable, well, Japan also happens to have one of the world's longest longevity rates. Something like that. People there live long. And, if we want to have a more sustainable environment and live longer, recycling is the way to go.
I think ultimately, when it's done properly, it can be pretty cost effective. Keeping a closed loop system, and you know, we understand that the quality of products isn't always high when you're continuously like formatting them, but we really think that keeping it back in its own system is better than like remining the raw materials or, you know, having to develop those. In addition, spreading awareness and education for sustainability. You know, we've done some events where we've educated the population about sustainability, and a lot of times a very easy approach is to target recycling because it's something that we can all do. It's pretty simple. Okay, exactly time. Okay, 3 minutes.
All right, I'll start first. So everything they said was exactly right. They said that it's a flawed system. They said that the intention, but like really, the intention as a consumer is we want to be more sustainable. We want to do something to help reduce our impact, be less bad. The issue, though, fundamentally, is that recycling is not that system to be more sustainable. Our current manufacturing and engineering process to make products does not have the end of life in mind. So what that means is when we get to the time where we're done with the product and we want to throw it away or recycle it, recycling is seen as an afterthought. It was not a part of its original design. So aluminum cans aside, things like cars, extracting the various metals from cars like copper, steel,
is incredibly energy intensive, very difficult to do to extract those raw materials to reuse or recycle them. So fundamentally, it's a very broken system and it's seen as an afterthought, and that's why it's incredibly difficult to implement and is not the path that we should use going forward.
Regardless of the efficiency of the recycling system, regardless, the additional energy is going to be required in order to process that. And earlier phases of the life cycle can capture these goods without having to put additional energy and reduce the quality of the material. So that is where the focus should be earlier on in the life cycle. Instead of recycling, it should be remanufacturing and reusing the products. And by even having a recycling system, it creates a false hope and misdirects sustainable efforts.
I think there's a lack of education in like just throwing away either garbage or recyclables. Like for example, last year our waste awareness campaign, to bring it up, 67% of landfill stream could be diverted, but 44% of the recycling stream can be improved. So I think like a lot of people are just throwing away the recyclables, or not, or yeah, both. They're throwing it away and the recycling contaminated plastic, so it's really just going straight to the landfill, so it's not really doing anything as it is.
Also, a lot of people are just not aware because recycling is so confusing and it very much depends on even where you are. A lot of people don't actually know what recycling is recycling versus what is trash. So then a lot of trash ends up in the recycling.
Yeah, just a.
Let's settle on.
Okay,
Okay. Seconds.
Matt, you have to talk really quickly.
Matt, go ahead.
So just a better alternative to recycling would actually be, as Lainey said, manufacturing goods so that they're designed to have a part of their a part of them be fully reused. That could be completely melted down, completely remade into a new product, and the consumer themselves does not need to differentiate what can be recycled and what cannot. Because again, if you contaminate the waste stream with just a single cup that still has a bunch of things in it, or a bunch of like coffee in it, or a greasy pizza box, which everyone in this room has done, I've done it, that contaminates an entire waste stream, and that ruins an entire batch. And recycling really just isn't currently economically sound.
All right. Again, I didn't to prep for the
Yeah. And
Well,
I
I may not
would
say
even
like
say, like, there might be Japan, but like, there's the US, which is top 10, and then there's all these other countries that are not even considered.
Yeah.
It's just American. So like, we are developing. We don't. What do you think about the rest of the world? We're just one click on the.
Okay. Okay. 3 minutes. Go. So I feel like I'd like to start off by saying I feel like one of your main points totally valid. Like keeping the end of life, keeping the end of life in mind when you're designing these products, right? So you talked about being able to recycle the whole thing or better disassemble, but like I think that argument, like you're actually pro recycling.
Not recycling,
For reuse?
remanufacturing and reuse.
Yeah, so, no, recycling requires additional energy to
Yeah.
reprocess the material and
The
it
definition of
removes the
recycling.
form and function of the product. Remanufacturing and reuse don't change that, they don't require additional
It would
energy to
stay,
process.
exactly, so remanufacturing and reuse allows for the virgin material to be used in that same product again. Recycling is extracting the material that can be used and putting it somewhere else, where it wasn't originally intended.
So one of the key examples of this is, I think it was Kodak, the digital reusable cameras. They, like, everyone knows when you finish with a disposable camera, you bring it back to the store, you give it to them, they'll give you your pictures, they'll take the camera. Well, when they took the camera, they sent it back to the plant, took it apart, cleaned up the parts, and put them back together and resold them. They didn't remelt down any of the plastic. They just made a new product out of an existing one.
Yeah, but how is Kodak doing today?
But it's not because they're digital cameras, it's because of these.
And it's a cost-effective strategy as well. So the cost to melt down a product and then reform it is way more expensive than simply remanufacturing the part.
To kind of get ahead of like where you guys might be going, recycling is like the current solution, right? That's what we have right now. That is not acceptable. That is not a sustainable long-term solution. It is very much a Band-Aid on this large problem that we have. And you mentioned Japan being, an idolized role model to base this off of. And that's absolutely true, but we're also a developed nation. We have the infrastructure and the resources to go even beyond that. And from the very beginning, design products that don't require the consumer to decide what happens to that product afterwards. And you brought up a good point.
So if the United States has a flawed recycling system, we are one of the most developed countries. We're not even discussing the rest of the world, which are underdeveloped nations, developing countries that don't have this infrastructure, and there is no recycling system at all. So by changing the perspective, we have the opportunity to create a system before it's developed in those countries that is more efficient and more effective than a flawed recycling system that we have in the United States.
Then we'll open it up to everyone.
Oh, okay, Olivia's hand's up first. All right.
So I'm a farmer. A dairy farmer to be exact.
Okay.
And I would love to, be able to produce the milk and ship it out in something more sustainable like glass and get it back like the old days. But the upfront cost for something like that is far too high for me. So I choose to ship my product out in plastic containers that can be recyclable. What am I supposed to do if I can't afford to pay for the glass containers and pay that upfront cost, let my business go out of sale? Am I killing the world?
That does not fall on you as a farmer. You are doing the best that you can with the resources you have, and for your instance, for your situation, recycling, like if you can, recycling is the best option, but recycling is not.
Did you say recycling?
Recycling is your
Recycling
current
is the best option, but that's not up to you to decide. That's up to the consumers that you sell it to, and you can't guarantee that they're going to recycle it. What that would fall on though is the engineers, the manufacturers of whatever container you're going to use. It falls on them to redesign it so that from the very beginning, it doesn't have to be recycled. It can be remanufactured or reused.
If you really are a farmer, your milk gets taken away by large trucks and brought to a processing facility where it's bottled. So you can rest easy as a farmer.
Also, specifically on glass bottles, a lot of the times with milk in glass bottles, it's sold for more expensive. So that takes care of part of the cost. But what makes it sometimes cheaper for the customer is that you can bring back the bottle and refill it, which makes it cheaper for everyone.
I'm a beer farmer.
So for recycling, a lot of times recycled products are brought far away, which takes, like sometimes you can go overseas, which uses a lot more energy, and they're processed there, and then the product that's extracted is then sent somewhere else, which often isn't like right next door. So it's not great. It's a good point.
But a lot of other countries have stopped taking our recycling.
In other words, so
Yeah, we were gonna say that, but you can cover that.
And none of us manufacturing, which can also start at the beginning of it and source reduction. And not producing as many things that need to be remanufactured or repurposed, or so cutting down on that from the get-go is a whole different approach to the problem.
Yeah.
That's almost better than either of the two approaches. Just don't make things that need to be disposed of.
Well,
So
yeah.
innovation is
cradle to
The most effective recycling is the one that
doesn't
at the point of consumption. So.
Well, the most effective recycling is the one
Well,
that
it doesn't
occurs
exist.
at the point of manufacture.
Yeah, okay, that's consumption. I mean, when a person buys it, they choose to buy a product that doesn't require it.
I mean, there's a reason they say reduce, reuse recycling. It says recycling is on the bottom. So it's
Well, it's a circle, so there
Yeah.
really isn't a bottom.
Whose side are you on?
Because replenishment comes afterwards.
I'm in the corner. I'm on both sides.
How does the pro recycling team feel about how recycling is used as a buzzword and everyone wants to do it, and a lot of our clothes are starting to, not a lot, but like some of our clothes are getting like, oh, there's 15 recycled water bottles in this like pair of leggings or something like that, and how it's bad. And like recycling plastic into other products where plastic previously had no place being in is contributing to the amount of microplastics in the oceans, because things like clothing are washed in the washing machine and all the water pulls everything away, so any microplastic that falls off then gets into our water stream. So how do you guys feel about recycling things that that makes it easier for them to become microplastics in water?
I'd argue that that's just incorrect end use for recycling. If you're going to be creating problems in that way.
I do think it is used as a buzzword, but I think also in terms of like awareness of sustainability, like maybe it's getting people in the mindset, even if you perhaps like purchase this shirt, like you make one good decision and hopefully it carries into, oh, look at me, I'm so sustainable, and like maybe you do other good things. Also, that was the time. We could still talk, but it's also.
So don't recycle.
So recycling, I am the prize who wins.
I am the prize.
I'm not gonna be squashed.
Yeah. Weirdest. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yes.
Go nuts.
So always think about the farmer.
Yeah.
Because farmers give the winning squash.
Farmers.
Yeah, right? Are you kidding me? Wait, no, shut up.